pound it. Pound it. I know that. That's fine. Welcome to another live taping of the Was It Good podcast. We're going to get started in just a second here. Once we make sure all the bells, the whistles, the sounds, the lights, the cameras, the action, the producers, the crew, the cast, the content, and everything.
A lot goes into this.
Yeah, there's a
garage operation.
Full set of people.
We got a one-man band
and things running around and taking care of everything. So,
oh man, the chaos. That, if only you could see the chaos.
Real quick, hold on a second.
You got your sword, huh?
Got my sword. Also got my little buddy.
Tuk tuk.
Tuk tuk.
Tuk
Tuk tuk.
Is it tuk tuk or tuk tuk?
Yes.
Or maybe it's tuk tuk.
It's whatever you want it to
it's
be.
Tuk tuk.
You know,
Are you jealous, Arjuna?
No, because that's Michael's.
No, this is mine.
No?
Yeah.
Well, that sword is also
The
Michael's.
sword is Michael's. I don't believe in weapons.
I don't believe you.
Wait,
You have a Mandalorian
shown-
rifle upstairs.
Oh, I was gonna. Oh, you did. Okay,
We did see
because
that.
you came over on Saturday.
Can I tell you what's wrong with the rifle?
You have already told me ad nauseum.
Quick question.
It's completed, but there are 3D print lines all over it.
That's how my rifles are.
I'm very
forget my
upset.
You've already forgotten your question.
Well, with
Old
that, then,
age.
I think, Mr. Producer Michael, are we ready to go?
Now recording.
All right, let's go ahead and start on this with a beautiful intro.
Yeah.
We have an epic battle in store for you on this episode of Was It Good? In one corner, we have Disney's newest animated flick, Raya and the Last Dragon, and the opposite corner stands Nickelodeon's own The SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. Who wins in the slugfest of the century? We'll break it all down right here. And who are we? I'm Ravi, and I'm with my brothers Christian and Arjuna, and we have Mr. Michael over in the producer's chair. Quick reminder, these are children movies! Ish things. There we go.
Shout out Brett Rader.
You didn't do it like Brett does. He
Yeah.
does it like this. This is a children's movie. Like that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to put my own creative spin on it.
By making it less cool.
It's still being creative
No. You're being less creative.
by being creative.
Nope.
Anyway, two very different movies. Two movies that were both slated, if I'm correct, to come out in 2020.
Yes. I
Both
believe
delayed
so.
because of a thing called COVID.
Actually, I don't know if Raya was originally slated for 2020. Might have been. It might have hit like right when it was supposed to.
Right at the correct moment.
Yeah, they're just like, you know what? Fuck it.
I do
keep
know
it
that
as
a
is.
lot of the movie was work from home. Like a lot of their animes work from home to kind of obviously finish that film. Right, real quick before we kind of like deep dive into this, visually,
Goddamn.
SpongeBob versus Raya. Which one to you was more visually interesting, and which one made you
can't believe you're
crawl
asking
under a
this.
blanket and go, "What's going on with
I
that?"
can't believe you're asking us with a straight face.
Well, if you go by interesting, interesting can mean a lot of things.
That's true.
It's a very open-ended
right.
question.
Like interesting could be, did it really stick out to you because of how horrifying it was?
Ooh.
And you could make the argument for SpongeBob because that animation to me was horrifying.
You were disturbed?
It was disturbing, especially like characters like Sandy Cheeks, like when they really like zoomed in on her face.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of like the surreal kind of weird kid but like adult animation that you see in like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared,
Yeah, okay.
where it's like,
Great.
it's like she kind of looked scary.
Yeah.
I was like, is this supposed to be a children's movie? Like Brett says? I don't know. I don't know if it was.
So-
But obviously Raya was vastly superior.
Yeah. So it's interesting because before we started the movie, we accidentally threw on the show SpongeBob. I think it was the camp one.
Camp Coral.
Which
Camp
is like the
Coral.
same animation, I think.
Pretty similar.
Or,
Probably
yeah,
just
it's like super
lowered
super
down.
similar. We were just like, what? I think we're watching it with Lauren, and Lauren's like, I don't like this at all. And she left after 5 minutes to go watch, I think, Camp Queens probably. So
Another quality show.
Great show.
great
Doesn't
show, yeah.
doesn't stick. Doesn't work in this day and age.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
why. That's,
wouldn't.
that's partly
Some of
why
the
it's so
subject
great,
matter is
though.
kind of like, whoa, okay.
It belongs in a museum.
Yes.
Okay,
That's what we're
okay, Indy. Okay, Indy.
Big time museum. I'm kind of surprised, Arjuna, by your comment of it was horrific. I wouldn't go that far. Like, don't get me
I
wrong.
was disturbed.
Don't get me wrong. How like Sandy the squirrel looked was kind of they were trying the animation style where it kind of blends between animation style and reality. And, you know, like her fur was very kind of pointy, and in some areas it looked kind of like distraught and a
She
mess.
looked like a crack addict. Okay?
It's definitely seemed like a crack addict, like especially that end part where it was basically a gigantic trailer for Camp Coral, where they're like, I remember SpongeBob.
The end part or the entire movie?
The end part for sure was a big like pitch for this new weird series that they're doing.
This is a weird reversal. Ravi's usually the one bashing, you know, animation, CGI, and here we are with Arjun going, I'm disturbed, and Ravi not defending it, but, you know, giving it some leeway. What is this Bizarro World?
I generally enjoyed the animation style, like SpongeBob.
You did?
Yeah, because SpongeBob, for the most part, has been. This is the third movie, correct?
This is the third movie.
The very first movie was the traditional 2D style animation,
Just with a little HD.
with a little HD, like a
film
little
quality.
bump up here. The second
Classic.
movie was that plus a little bit of 3D elements.
The 3D animation when they went onto the surface.
And there's also what's his name? The main actor from Baywatch.
Oh, but he's in the first one.
Oh, is that the first one?
That's the first. David Hasselhoff's in the first one.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas is in the second one. And the third one features the
Everyone.
live action versions of Danny Trejo and Snoop Dogg.
And Mr. 21st century himself, Keanu Reeves.
And Keanu
How
Reeves
are you going to
is
forget
out his
Keanu
face.
Reeves?
Technically, it's not a full body. It's just his head.
Wow.
It's
Just his
a
head.
bush.
He's the biggest
He's
star
the sage.
in the world right now.
The sage.
He is like Jesus. He can do no wrong.
I just wonder how much did they pay him for this movie?
Either way, my point is I kind of enjoy that they're trying and they're updating the animation styles. SpongeBob has always been kind of like, especially like the earlier seasons, and Gina, you love that stuff. Like it is
that shit.
It's old school Nickelodeon where it's borderline. It's a children's show.
Yeah.
But there are like very adult themes, very kind of like tongue in cheek. Got that one right.
Take that, Lauren.
Yeah, tongue in cheek.
Cheek and tongue.
Cheek and tongue. There we go. No, that's not it. Type of like, you know, things that adults would pick up on as opposed to kids, right? Yeah. There's a lot of that in this film, I think, for sure. And I think the animation style kind of lends into this kind of bizarro-ness. But you also have to think SpongeBob has been running for what, 20 plus years at this point?
1999. So you're hitting year 22 right now.
They have to.
That's absurd.
They have to appeal to a different audience in some other way. So like people like Arjuna who grew up watching this.
Oh,
people
Gen Alpha?
are whatever.
Gen Alpha.
I think that's the name of the little kids right now. Gen Z Alpha or something like that.
Oh God.
I feel bad for the generation after when there'll be Gen Beta because nobody wants to be the beta.
So the thing is, the people like Arjuna who grew up watching this, he's familiar with this old school of animation style. If Arjuna was to have kids and he wants to get his kids interested for whatever reason, they would want something a little bit different than what Arjuna grew up on. So they would need to change the animation style in some capacity,
Yeah,
which
I
is
guess that's
crackhead
true.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Well, also, you know, not to be the cynic here, but
Do it.
I think the reason for the different animation style being a backdoor pilot for a new show is because there's this thing called Paramount Plus. It needs content.
Wait, what?
And,
is a great transition,
And this
by the way.
isn't the only spin-off that's been announced for SpongeBob. In fact, there's multiple spin-offs on multiple platforms that have been announced. You have Camp Coral coming out. You have a Patrick Star variety show coming out. You have a Squidward Tentacle show coming out. So
A variety show?
Yes.
With
correct.
Patrick?
Yeah, where he interviews people.
What's the Squidward one?
The Squidward one is apparently a Netflix one, and it's something like artistic. I don't know.
I'm hoping the Squidward one should be like America's funniest home videos.
With Patrick Star.
But it should be with
Bikini
Squidward.
Bottom stuff.
With Squidward being like, you suck, or, you know.
It wasn't a bad Squidward.
I kind of look like him.
So let's actually jump into Paramount Plus quite a bit here, because obviously with the launch of Paramount Plus, it was obviously they did it along with this movie. They did with the Camp Coral show. A bunch of other stuff dropped. But one of the biggest things that I saw with the Paramount Plus release was, you know, disorganization in terms of the app, not working across all platforms. Some distribution like devices don't work in terms of Android devices or Roku devices. And then the bigger one was, cool, it's a lot of nostalgia content. And again, not a lot of new things to kind of dig my teeth into, right? So Paramount Plus launches after things like HBO Max, Disney Plus. I can't even think of all the Peacock,
Apple TV Plus,
Apple TV. Like there's been so many. Do we think? And obviously before Paramount Plus, it was CBS All Access.
Correct.
But now
which was first, by the way.
Which
CBS
was the
All
very
Access
first one, yeah.
predated all the others besides Netflix, obviously. But they kind of were the first to introduce this idea of here's all of our legacy stuff, and we're also creating original content for this thing. That first piece of original content being for CBS All Access, Star Trek Discovery, which we actually, one of our first reviews here on Was It Good?
I think it was our very first one. Episode 1, I think, is Star Trek.
I think it is Star Trek Discovery.
In your old apartment.
So
Long time
there you
ago.
go. That's 3 years ago. So they had a head start, and they still somehow fumbled it. My own personal Paramount Plus experience, the app on the Friday, I believe March 4th, your CBS All Access app was just supposed to just change over to Paramount Plus. Every time I opened up my CBS one, it just crashed. So I had to uninstall it and then install the new Paramount Plus one. The layout is the exact same as CBS All Access. Like, nothing has changed.
No UI changes.
No UI changes. They had the same boxes that have the different brands, which they did months ago on there. And, yeah, it just feels like they just changed the name because there's already bad PR for CBS All Access. And they're just like, let's do Paramount Plus. And it also now has bad PR.
Well,
I mean, it's interesting, though. Like, everything is kind of looped into one spot, right? Like, all of Nickelodeon's in there.
All of MTV.
MTV is in there. There's also supposedly, because of this change with Paramount Plus, there's also going to be these new shows, these revitalized shows from Nickelodeon, right? There's an animated Rugrats coming.
like the same animation style?
As SpongeBob, or
Yeah.
kind of similar, but it's like this 3D style, but it's kind of retelling tales and stories of Rugrats, like what we grew up on. I don't know about Hey Arnold. That's another big one, obviously. Ren and Stimpy, probably not. Rocco's Modern Life is another one that I saw.
I was scared by that show.
Paramount also hired the original creators back of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and they'll be making Avatar content for Paramount Plus.
Ooh,
There's an entire Avatar studio that's been shot off from Nickelodeon, so there's a lot more Avatar content coming too.
There is?
Yes, Avatar, the greatest movie. No, Avatar, The Last Airbender. Avatar.
Is it going to have the
Korra.
two creators?
Yes, the
Yeah.
two creators signed an overall deal with Paramount.
Oh, thank God.
to come back.
Yeah, but they have like full oversight or more
Yeah,
oversight.
like they're gonna. I think what fans have wanted is what's gonna happen. They're just gonna create tons of adventures within this Avatar world. They're really gonna blow it out.
I need 1 million avatars. I just need I need 1 million avatars. We need all of their stories. Past, present, and future.
But in comparison, I mean, Disney Plus has been around now, what, a year? 2 years?
Year plus?
Yeah, a year plus. Paramount Plus is kind of the evolution of CBS All Access. Where would you say things stand in terms of, I would say, let's ask the question of currently, where do things stand in terms of what's a more interesting app to you? And then when you look ahead at the slate of things coming out, so all of Disney Plus's new stuff versus all of the Paramount Plus's new stuff. You know, is
just
it
talking those two or all the others?
Let's just look at those two, because obviously this entire pod is specifically on Raya and the Last Dragon, which came out via Disney Plus, and obviously the SpongeBob movie, which did come out in theaters, but also
Did Raya also come out in theaters too? Do you have
select
the option?
theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both came out in select theaters, but we chose the digital because we're fearful of crowds.
We're smart.
No, I
Let's
just
just say
don't
we're
like
smart.
crowds. So
Oh, COVID has really made you shy.
I believe it's pronounced
Or shy.
COVID. Actually, they just recently announced that.
COVID.
Yes, COVID.
COVID?
COVID.
Oh, hold on. COVID.
COVID. COVID. COVID. It's like coffin.
Yeah, coffin.
Coffin.
Oh, Kofefe.
Wow, could somebody like take Coffin, like how he
I'm
looks,
someone
and then
must.
animate it like the COVID?
And it just goes coffin. Coffin. Coffin.
Oh, man. Anyway, back to your question.
Yeah.
For me, it's Disney Plus. I mean, it's not even close. To be honest, I mean, Marvel, Star Wars doesn't.
Nat Geo.
Hey, a lot of people love that apparently. But the Paramount's got like a nice nostalgia factor. With those shows that you mentioned. I mean, for me, the only thing that I would probably tune in for is definitely all the Avatar stuff. Especially if they can have 1 million shows, all the Avatars, I'll be there for that. And then maybe Rugrats. All the rest, though, I'm
And Star Trek.
no.
What about Rocket Power?
No, I was a little too old when those shows.
Yeah, you were like 30 back then.
Yeah, it was. I've aged like fine wine. But yeah, no, it's Disney Plus. For me, it's not close.
Juna?
Yeah, it's got to be Disney Plus. Like I think they've also just poured in the money into
It's Disney.
making sure that we've made fun of them at D23 in 2019 when they announced 5 billion fucking shows, but like it's going to pay off for them because guess what, if you put in $10 billion for 5 billion shows and like 2 billion hit, well,
and it's also some of the most iconic pop culture icons.
Yeah, exactly.
Star Wars and Marvel.
They've gathered the right things. They've built. They have the right IP. Versus Paramount just really doesn't. Like they have some niche things with Star Trek is still niche.
It is?
Avatar, yeah. I wouldn't say Star Trek is main, not on Star Wars level. Like a lot of people compare them, but
Yeah, you have to remember Star Trek is old school sci-fi fans,
Right.
and I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, and I'm not trying to put
It's
one
bad.
group down. No, it's just that the Star Trek fans that are Star Trek fans now,
Yeah.
for the most part, are Star Trek fans of old.
yeah.
Right?
Right.
There's not a lot of new Star Trek fans that have popped up when you compare that to like Star Wars. A lot of new Star Wars fans did
Say
pop up
what
in
you
the
will
last 10
about the new
years.
trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did build new fan base. Mandalorian's done the same
There's
thing.
a whole
So,
Rey and
Like,
Kylo Stans group.
Discovery
Yeah,
and those shows, and even the new Star Trek, the movies, and they're not even new anymore, right?
So, my
those Star
question-
Trek movies came out 12, 13 years ago. They haven't built that same type of fan base.
My observation is this, and I'm no marketing or business guru, but if your fan base is old and you're not replacing it with new fans, that's IP that's going to go extinct.
It's bad. It's bad for business.
Yeah. So don't pour any more money into it and let it die.
But to be fair, Star Trek, as we again last summer we reviewed the show Lower Decks. Even though it's an adult animated show, they are leaning more into the animated verse. Nickelodeon is doing a
Star Trek
Star Trek
Project is
kids
called.
show, right?
Yep.
Which will feature Janeway, a character from the original. Some of the original shows, I guess. Well, not really original, but older shows.
But I'll say this is the first time though, like Paramount with the Star Trek franchise is actually finally trying something new.
Yeah.
While Star Wars, I wouldn't say with Disney purchasing Star Wars, I think the new thing that they're doing is like The Mandalorian. But before that, they were trying the new stuff with the animation, right?
Yeah.
But that again was 15, 20 years ago with like the Clone Wars animated show. Like they had the head start. So
Yep.
yeah, who the hell is what?
So, I mean, here's the thing with Paramount, though. Like, Paramount and Viacom were different, and then they combined, and then they separated, and then they combined again. So, I think their whole corporate structure is just a little bit more murky versus, like, a Disney. Like, Disney has just spent the last 10 years really acquiring IP, buying Marvel, buying Lucasfilm. Companies that were, like, actually pretty well run in terms of, and profitable, too, right? Lucasfilm was making money. Marvel was obviously making money with the beginning of, like, the whole Phase 1 and MCU type of thing. So they just have a head start. I think Disney has proven that it is for the mainstream, right? They have the biggest IP. They're probably the present value, in terms of hitting the IP that maybe the whole family is into. While Paramount Plus and even some of the other ones, I know we're not talking about them, but even like Peacock and HBO Max are maybe a little bit more niche.
Yeah, for sure. HBO is for the adults.
HBO Max,
Peacock is for the millennials.
not to go on too much of a tangent, but I think HBO Max is probably my favorite because I just feel like they have.
Whoa, no, you ruined the whole bit.
Oh.
The whole bit was I was gonna ask you guys, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, what's your favorite?" And I was gonna say, "Oh, it's Peacock," and you guys would be like, "Well, what?" And I'll be
Literally
like,
no
"King
one
of
likes
Queens,
Peacock.
George Lopez,
But Ravi,
The
you said-
Office."
wait, but-
Peacock's is
You
it on
said-
Peacock?
Yeah. You
it's all
said
on
10 minutes
Peacock.
ago, keep it to these two.
Yeah, I know, but I always change the rules for myself when it comes to the three of us. Like, have you learned nothing in however old years we've known each other?
No.
Clearly.
And that's my right.
That is your right. Let's I think the digital wars
Clearly we have a winner.
would you say that we're getting to an end?
No.
No.
What do you mean?
No, it's just beginning. I think what you're going to see.
It's
No, really, it
only
really
just
is.
begun.
Because you still have to figure out who's going to win the sports card. You're still going to have to figure out who wins the live stuff. You still have to, and then you're going to see some of these kind of businesses fold and stuff. Like, let's be honest, like Apple TV Plus, like that's been a disaster because they just have so few originals. Peacock hasn't necessarily gotten the viewership, the users that they want. Even HBO Max, like they're not getting the users they want. The only one that's
Whoa! It's not 2 weeks from now. after the amazing Zack Snyder cuts come out. Like, let's be honest, they're gonna beat Disney. Like, I think Disney Plus reported an insane growth in terms of numbers or reported users. I think they are. I think we all knew this. Disney Plus is gonna be the gold standard to kind of beat.
Yeah,
and I think HBO Max after 2021 will be interesting to look at based on their model for this year in terms of releasing these big blockbusters. It will be interesting to see where the numbers are. But I think, at the end of the year, in terms of like who's got the most users, it's gonna be Disney Plus, probably HBO Max, and it'd be interesting. I believe like
who's playing for third.
Well, remember Netflix is still above all of these because
of course, worldwide Netflix is still killing everybody, and also most nominations in the Oscars. Thank you, Mr. Producer. But I think like
also the most debt.
I think the third, fourth spot's gonna be between like a Peacock. And a Paramount, like a Paramount.
Hulu is part of like the Disney portfolio.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, they own the majority stake.
Technically, Disney Plus, you almost have to loop in like Hulu and ESPN because they all offer them as like a 3-tier thing. Of
that's right.
Here's everything.
But it's really going to be Peacock versus Paramount Plus, and I think it's going to be on the older generation. And what I mean by that is.
Boomers?
Yeah, like boomers are finally kind of breaking away to a degree from the cable model and paying for cable, and they're moving to this digital streaming platform, right? It's taken forever, but they're finally realizing, a lot of these shows that I have to do the what is that, the timed viewership or the timed tune in, where the weekly timed programming or whatever, they're realizing they don't have to do that, and they can just jump on these apps and watch these shows whenever they want. But if those two shows, for example, or those two networks like Peacock and Paramount Plus have the older shit, right? Like the King of Queens, which I like, you're going to go for the ones where you can just put that crap on and then tune out or whatever, right?
Go on your phone, on Twitter.
Exactly. And talk about how racist the show is, sadly.
I mean, it was made in the early 2000s.
It's a relic.
Yeah, it's a very. There are some parts like we were watching a piece today, King of Queens, and Christians like Doug and Carrie are basically like certified psychopaths that are like essentially trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Like they do like semi illegal stuff all the time. Like they're not good people. They're really not.
It's probably like Doug is probably like the real life version of Peter Griffin.
Are you saying King of Queens is just a live action Family Guy?
It's maybe the closest.
Yeah, probably the closest in terms of like real life things that like I was seeing in a Family Guy. You have the chicken fighting Peter, right? Sure. Like that won't happen. But like there's similar type of situations where he's like, going after where there's a kid at a baseball game.
Oh, I remember this one.
And like this kid's throwing crap at him, so then he decides like steal the ball from the kid, and like everyone's booing at him, and he's like swearing at like there's there's comparable things definitely.
Oh man, that's
it's
so
like
great.
Okay.
Best part of that show is still Jerry Stiller, the dad.
Oh yeah,
God.
oh yeah,
oh God,
definitely makes it, and also the fact that like his wife is also in the show
and
as
Ben
well.
Stiller also is
makes an appearance here and there. Yeah.
That was a nice King of Queens tangent.
Yes. Anyway, let's move into the movie I think that we all agree was quite enjoyable.
SpongeBob.
No, it wasn't. I mean,
I was on my phone the whole time.
Is there anything that we want to say in terms of the general plot of SpongeBob? I think for me, Keanu Reeves, that entire sequence.
I immediately paid more attention when he appeared because I didn't know it was coming. And
you had no idea?
I had no idea. And then also up until then, it was playing out like a regular SpongeBob episode. And then that happened. I'm like, wow, this got really strange. I was like, it was like off balance. I don't know if you felt the same way. You were more of a.
You're talking about the entire sequence when they go to the Western town and Danny Trejo, the Diablo, shows up. And Snoop Dogg shows up.
Yeah. I'm just like, what is
the
happening?
dancing pirate zombie?
And like, were they dreaming? Like, I was confused. Like,
it was a joint dream.
It was a joint dream.
Yeah, Sage was able to like.
So why were they dreaming at the same time? Like, what was the power that let them
to save animation costs?
Oh, right.
I mean,
yeah.
Like it was.
Go to live action.
It was only, I always like to look at the budgets of movies, right? This was a $40 million movie, and so
most of that went to cast.
Went to Keanu.
Maybe. I mean,
well, Keanu, Snoop, Danny.
Those are the big three.
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish.
Were the big,
those are all the big names.
Which, by the way, Awkwafina's in both of these movies. So
yeah, we know.
She's the true winner.
That's why we
just
have
like
this
Zoe
battle.
Saldana in the Avengers Endgame Avatar battle of the #1 movie in
And
the
Star
world.
Trek.
Yeah, but Star Trek's not in the top, like two.
Still, like she's in 2 big franchises.
Yeah, Avatar and Avatar 2.
Is she confirmed for Avatar 2?
Yeah, she's been filming the sequels, like Avatar.
All
2,
10 of them.
2, 3,
Oh,
4,
boy.
6, 9,
James Cameron?
24.
James Cameron's a taskmaster.
James Cameron does it again with 15 sequels to the movie that you kind of thought, ooh, that's weird.
You know what'd be hilarious though? They filmed all these sequels. Avatar 2 comes out, bombs. Like, what do they do with the other ones?
Make it.
I don't
You've
know about
invested
that
too
because
much.
like Avatar does really well in the Asian market.
Yeah, but what if like Cameron's lost his touch and they're just shitty movies?
I somehow feel like the movie has been crafted in such a way that
can't
it
fail?
can't fail in China. And the fact that they re-released Avatar in China
Zoe
and it made a
Saldana?
crap ton of money kind of also says like, you know, it's a movie that side of the world enjoys and really likes and can connect to for whatever reason. So something tells me like when they were thinking up and doing the pre-production for Avatar, it was like, how do we appeal to this audience? I would wonder if this movie's made more for that kind of, you know, world as opposed to like a Western culture, which isn't a bad thing, but you know, but
Plenty of people here liked that movie.
yeah, no, of
So
course,
I don't know.
of course.
I don't know why we're, that did really well here. A lot of people loved it.
But that was 20 years ago.
It was 12 years ago.
That's like
And
20.
visually, it was like incredible. Like people,
Have you-
I remember people went to go see it so many times because when they put on the 3D glasses and the IMAX, for some people that image was so addictive they wanted to live inside of that world.
But here to play devil's advocate, we've seen a lot of like quote unquote long awaited sequels come out and bomb. Especially like in lots of parts of the world. So I'm just wondering like what if, right? It just doesn't do well. Like it just doesn't resonate 12, 15. Like it just isn't the movie people want and expect.
Then it sucks.
And then you have like 3 other movies you're sitting on.
Well, then no. I mean,
maybe they'll be
release
better.
them.
no, you would release them. You would go back, do reshoots, or recraft the story
no,
to
for
figure
sure.
out the.
Yeah.
You would basically do a lot of like research, like why did this suck? Well, this sucked because
Or why didn't it hit
did not enough
with
explosions.
this demographic?
There wasn't. What's the actor's name? Sam.
Worthington.
There wasn't enough Sam Worthington.
Is he? He's not in them, is he?
No, he is.
Oh, he is. Oh, thank
He
God.
better be.
He was in that
the
and like
best part.
Terminator in the same year, and everyone's like, Sam Worthington is the next Hollywood A-lister.
No, is he? Is
12
he,
years
is he
later.
going to be in the sequels?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
But it was funny because like in 09, like 09 was his year because he was in that, he was in Terminator,
And he hasn't done anything.
and then he really, I'm sure he's done some things.
Or maybe
he
he's
just
just been
hasn't
so
become-
busy with DC.
He just has, he
James
just
Cameron, man.
he just hasn't become the he hasn't become the A-lister everyone thought he would.
So Raya
above
and
the
the
list.
Last Dragon.
Yeah.
What do we think? Was this a
incredible.
surprise to anyone that this
Yeah.
would be an entertaining story, or was this
I mean,
more?
so I didn't know anything about it going in, except that we saw a trailer a few months ago, and I was like, oh, this is basically Legend of Korra meets
Avatar?
Mulan. Basically, I was like, that's just, I'm getting those vibes like hardcore. Went in right off the bat. I think visually the most stunning animated movie ever
the
made.
water
I don't think it's-
alone was amazing.
Yeah, every time there was water, I was like, "This." I'm just like, I don't understand this. And then I think there was a really powerful message in there, which I wasn't expecting either. Something that I don't think I've seen done, which is trust your enemies. I thought that was a really powerful message that I just haven't seen. Maybe it's there, but I've missed
Yeah,
it.
I feel like Disney always Disney very much is always like, what's the lesson here in our animated movie?
Yeah.
And they always they always surprise me, and they find oftentimes like pretty cool and interesting messages. And I thought this was one of them. What kind of surprised me about this movie is a lot of like the Disney animated movies and the Pixar movies are always announced like years and years in advance, right? Like they're announcing movies that come out like 5, 6 years, 7 years later. Just because the production generally takes so long, right? They're really honing in and crafting the story. The animation takes a long time. Sometimes they record and re-record, and there's a lot of anticipation really built up for these movies. This movie like had some rumors in like 2018 and then was like actually announced in 2019, and like a year and a half later it was out. So it was a much shorter production shelf life than I think the regular Disney animated movie. And they kind of proved that You don't need the 6 years to necessarily make these like masterpieces that they've made.
Or is it
before.
just that the technology is like there?
I think it's the
with
tech has
It-
gotten a lot.
it might-
Tech has gotten a hell of a
It
lot
might be,
better.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
like-
which is interesting. Like even like Kelly Marie Tran, who voices Raya, she wasn't cast until January of 2020. You know what I mean? So like in 14 months, she was cast, did the lines, and like they honed it around her voice and stuff. And I just think like and it was a really good movie. Like I wouldn't if you put that movie in front of me and like guess the production timeline, like I wouldn't have guessed that it was quote
18
unquote
months.
like that short.
Yeah.
Compared to some of these other like Disney movies and Pixar movies and even like a movie Into the Spider-Verse, right? Where like they were working on that movie for years and years and years and like really like honed it. And like that's a really great movie. Like don't get me wrong, but this kind of also proved there's like more than one way to do something clearly.
The biggest surprise for me was the amount of merchandise I would want after the movie. And you all laugh because I like to buy a lot of merchandise, but I don't usually like buying a Disney animated movie merchandise.
Yeah.
You know, obviously,
This is the first for you.
Tut Tut, you know,
Tuk.
Tuk with very cute character, rolls up into a little ball thing, and like,
It's like an armadillo.
it's so cool. This was cool character. Her sword, granted, this is like the plasticky one, but like the sword was dope. It like
really cool.
you turn into like a whippy
Like a whip
thingy.
thing, yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Awesome like stuff. Like
Yeah.
we all laugh and joke like Disney makes movies and stuff to sell stuff. Like no shit. You know, but
They
this
nailed
movie
it with
they
this
did
one.
a great
nailed
job with this film. Great job.
The orb itself is like
Yeah,
really
the orb is
beautiful.
super cool.
The three monkeys and their ringleader is
baby.
Oh, the
in
baby.
my opinion,
Yeah.
the best part of the movie
Yeah.
because I want to know where that baby got those skills. What? Why is she running around straight up doing? She's crazy. She would give Grogu a run for his money.
And it's now 2022 D23, and I think Bob Chapek is the CEO right now of Disney. Comes out on stage and says, "Guys, we know that you loved Raya and the Last Dragon. We're gonna announce the Disney Plus spin-off series where we're gonna have the three monkeys and the baby,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have
No.
this, and we're gonna have this,
No,
and we're
no,
gonna
no.
have this."
I'm in.
Even better, Disney is going to lean all the way into their baby characters, and it's going to be called Disney Babies, and all the babies meet. Like,
Screw the princess.
I'm pretty sure there's a product line called that.
I want the
It'd be
the
great.
Disney baby
Have Grogu.
video game. It'll be a beat 'em up. Like that you pit the babies against each other and they fight each other.
Yeah.
Like Smash Brothers. But Disney.
wait,
babies.
does Disney own Build-A-Bear? Does anyone know that?
Sure.
I mean, if they should
In
own
some
Build-A-Bear,
way,
and
in
they
some
should
way.
have all their
Build-A-Bear.
baby characters be like the Build-A-Bear.
So
Build a
let's
baby.
ask a
Build a
question.
baby.
Let's
Build a
ask a
baby.
question. So like with SpongeBob, obviously SpongeBob and Paramount Plus, they're doing this entire like franchise universe building type thing, right? Raya comes from Raya, right?
Yeah.
Raya comes from obviously Disney Animation Studios. They did awesome films such as Big Hero 6, which is, being connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Do you think this is going to be its own separate thing, or is there a world in which this could potentially live in the MCU? Because
Something crazy like that.
fuck it.
I do have a quick question about the animation studio thing. I don't know if I've asked it before, but I forget. Is Pixar still around, and are they separate, or
Yeah,
did
they're
Pixar
separate.
become?
No.
Disney
So
animation?
Pixar's its own separate
Pixar
thing.
Pixar did Soul
Yeah.
last year.
Okay.
And they're still making like they did Toy Story.
But they're
4.
also under the Disney umbrella.
correct.
Yeah.
So Disney has multiple animation studios.
That's crazy.
Because,
Why?
confusion.
Well, and they also have,
Tax evasion. Tax evasion. That's
like,
my
they also
theory.
have like
Tax
and they'll sell it as we have different creative minds and different creative projects we want to do, and Pixar certainly has built up its own brand that has like a Pixar feel, right? And Disney Animation has
I
their
see what you're
Princess
saying.
line, right? And it has its own feel, and
I
it's
got
interesting because like I do want to talk about this. Like Raya is like part of the Disney Princess line, but the Disney
Is she really?
Well, technically, yes.
I didn't know that.
It's part of the whole princess line, but the Disney princess line has certainly changed over the last.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's not a
few
princess.
decades?
She's a warrior.
But a lot of the Disney princesses have become like
Xena.
more independent, and it's less about like the romance and falling in love, right?
Yeah, it's about saving the world.
Like with Frozen, for example, right? Like the main princess like doesn't have a love interest by the end of the movie. With Raya, it's kind of the same thing. Moana, the same thing. Like so they're really like trying to kind of change the perspective of what they used to do. Of like there always must be somebody you fall in love with. and like that is what it is. And so
I think
here for
that
it. I
that's
dig
an
it.
awesome thing, right? That's just the times are changing, which is great. I can't wait for.
We don't need the boring romance.
I wanted to get to the point
I
there where
want the romance.
where the Disney princess is in charge of the Galactic Empire and is hell bent on destruction and the end
Mulan.
of everything.
could you guys
Mulan
ever
breaks bad.
But could you guys ever foresee like Disney Animation taking like another Disney IP or property, like a Star Wars, for example, and making almost like a quote unquote Disney princess movie? Like a prince, like our producer just said, like a Princess Leia movie, or even like a Rey, or like other female characters.
I
where
would
it's
say
kinda
they wouldn't cross the lines because it becomes this icky mess. And a great example of like when you look at the Walt Disney Company when they try to cross the lines with various verticals is this little thing called Marvel in the MCU. Specifically, this tiny show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was produced by ABC Studios in conjunction with Marvel Television, which doesn't exist anymore, along with the MCU and like the Marvel Studios, and it was a giant clusterfuck, right? And like
it confused a lot of people.
it confused a lot of people. So
What's
I don't
canon,
know if
what
they would
isn't.
do that because
Yeah.
here's the question: is cool. You see Princess Leia in this animation style. The story's a little bit different. It's a little bit kind of, Raya-esque, if you will. The question's going to be, okay, so here's the Star Wars timeline. Where does it show up,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And then the question would then come back to like, well, why would you need this animation studio? Just have Lucasfilm, the story group, figure it out,
Right.
and then you maybe contract them to design it. But like the story group has main control and all that stuff.
And
So-
I think to your point, like Disney doesn't want to cannibalize itself, so like they really have all their studios really like focus on different things, right? So like their most recent thing, like getting 20th Century Fox, which is just 20th Century now, I believe. Like they want 20th Century to focus more on like adult stuff, like the non-family stuff, right? Like the PG-13, like the hard PG-13s and the rated R type of stuff. So it is interesting, but there's also going to be some of that crossover. Even like if you talk about the MCU, like Deadpool 3 is going to be part of the MCU, but it's also going to be rated R. So it's almost like, again, a little bit of that cross, and it'll be interesting to see like tonally how that works.
So before we kind of jump into anything else here, I want to take a step back here. We usually do our one-word impressions, but I want you, instead of to do a one-word impression for each, I want you to pick one word that describes your viewing experience for both films.
Wow.
It's very complicated, a little bit tricky there.
Yeah.
So I'll go first, if unless you guys already kind of have the word.
Go ahead.
Okay. So for me, it's going to be.
There's only one easy answer.
Well, what is it? You say it because I don't want to take.
I don't want it to be my word, but the easy answer is just Aquafina. That's the easy
too late.
right there that sums up
It's
both
your
their-
word.
Well, mine was actually going to be an easier one, which was water. SpongeBob takes place
Water
under the sea, which is
Aquafina is
water.
water.
True, but it's also a person. It's also a person. And then obviously The Last Dragon deals with a lot of themes around water and this evil and
She's
all
a
that
water
fun stuff.
dragon.
Did you also get the sense of like water? They were using water as well as a way to like water like cleanses you and washes away your evil and all that fun stuff. So yeah, my one word impression was water.
Yeah, that's
I also
pretty good.
drank water when I watched both.
Did you inhale water though? Like, did you take it from the air and
No, I water bended
Filtered
it
it,
first and then put it in a cup.
okay, cool.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
Katara.
Wow.
Either of you come up with one, or
I have one.
let's hear it.
Nice.
Mine's gonna be franchise. The reason I'm gonna go with franchise is because I think we're seeing a tired franchise in SpongeBob. I think SpongeBob. Again, Ravi mentioned like it is going on 22 years. They are trying to find a new audience. I don't know if like clearly it's still making money. It wouldn't still be going.
I don't know about that. Talk to Star Trek.
Clear. But there's still an audience there. It's still a popular IP for Nickelodeon and Paramount. But I do think the franchise is tired and obviously isn't what it used to be. Obviously, I'm not the target demographic anymore.
I would hope not.
Yeah, Arjuna's big confession, guys. I've been watching SpongeBob nonstop since season 3.
And it's just not.
I really stopped at season 3. I think like most of my generation did. Like I think after the
How old?
first-
Do you remember how old you were when season 3 dropped?
A lot of people cite like the decline in SpongeBob quality around season 3 / when the movie came out / when the original creator stepped away from the show. So 2004. So I was about 11, 12 when the show wasn't
you
really for
graduated?
me anymore. or I would just only watch the older episodes.
You're entering high school at that age, right?
No, I didn't enter high school until 06. So I was still in middle school.
Oh, okay.
And I still watched a little bit of SpongeBob in
Do you mean 6th grade?
2006.
Oh, 2006. Okay. Wait, because you said 6. I was like, when you were 6 years old?
No, 2006.
Yeah, Arjuna is a
06.
genius.
Yeah, what the hell? Why aren't you making lots of money?
So, yeah, but I still watched some SpongeBob probably in like 05, maybe even 06, but it certainly wasn't.
So be fair though, like, because I did this
popular
in
as I
college.
liked.
We would have grass, as it was referred to,
Not milk?
not milk. And we would watch old school SpongeBob, but we'd always watch between like seasons 1, 2, sometimes 3. And honestly, like, because I used to watch SpongeBob a little bit with you way back then.
Yeah,
but I really remember SpongeBob
In college?
in college.
You know what's funny? And I'm not going to lie when I say this. I did not watch any SpongeBob in college.
Really?
That
honestly
that's
surprises
probably like
me.
the time of my life I didn't watch SpongeBob.
The only time. Because you wanted to be cool.
No,
You wanted to fit in.
I just didn't have time. I didn't watch a ton of I didn't have a ton of time to watch different TV shows. And if I was watching a TV show, it's like something I hadn't watched before. So
had 4
I like
jobs.
started Game of Thrones. I watched Avatar in college.
You guys remember how shitty Game of Thrones ended?
We did podcasts on it. Our producer was a guest on the finale.
So fucking terrible.
Yeah. God, that was another life.
Worst. That really was another lifetime
Remember
ago.
the premiere we were in Chicago for Star Wars Celebration for?
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We did a pod.
No,
We did not end up
we
doing
did
a
not
pod
do a
because
pod.
we didn't have the right equipment. We watched
We
it
didn't
and
have
then
our
we were like,
producer with
okay, we're
us.
just going to have to do episode 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
which is fine
Yeah.
because that season was shit.
It was not good.
Complete
yeah, my-
shit.
My answer is franchise. So for SpongeBob being tired, and I think Raya honestly has some franchise potential. Like I think they built like a really strong mythology.
Yeah, for all the Disney Plus shows.
Yeah, and they could certainly do some interesting stuff there. I think like with the history of their land and the people and like the dragons. Like I think there's franchise potential.
Here's my bold prediction for 2022. The spin-off show with the 3 monkeys and the little kid as the ringleader will drop on Disney Plus, and it will be Christian's favorite show of 2022.
Wow.
I don't think that's too bold.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe prediction.
You think so?
That is pretty safe.
Like more than like any Star Wars thing, like the Obi-Wan show or
yeah, that's-
Mandalorian
Is Obi-Wan
season 3.
coming next year?
I believe it's next year. 2022 is when it drops.
I don't know. I have a feeling Krishna is going to really like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That's my gut. That's
It
what my gut
depends. If
tells
there's a battle
I agree
between,
with you.
if there's a lightsaber fight between
You're upset.
Obi-Wan Kabuzi and Vader, and it's like a year before they meet on the Death Star,
I still think Krishna
it's
would
hot
like
dog
it.
shit.
I would like
Krishna would still like
because it's
it.
gonna give us
man.
it's gonna give us I know I know
context.
it's gonna piss off a lot of people, and
Yeah.
a part of me would be pissed off too. But if they fight and it looks fucking badass, who cares?
Nope.
That's what we want
Nope,
to see.
nope,
we want
nope,
to see
nope, nope,
Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in this
They wanna-
prime, in his armor, fighting and it being cool.
They want to be truthful to episode 4, so they're gonna fight like they did in episode 4.
Okay, if they do that, I would like it even more.
And they
because now
say-
they're just trolling
And
us.
they say the exact same lines. Looks like I've become the master.
Do you guys think Paul Bettany will be like, there's a surprise actor in the Obi-Wan?
He's
Oh, I
probably
hope
gonna
so.
say that in every like
hope so.
press interview he does for the rest
I
of his
honestly
life.
hope Sebastian Stan was like continues the Mark Hamill thing because you know how everyone's like Sebastian Stan should be
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, so he should be like there's a Mark Hamill level cameo in this show, and then just winks at the camera.
yeah,
It would be hilarious.
That would be
does.
pretty good.
he does.
Did you come up with your one word to recap
Yeah, I'm
Both films?
just gonna stick with Aquafina.
Aquafina? Okay.
Actually, mostly because both of her characters. I think Otto was one of the more interesting parts of SpongeBob, and I thought she killed it as the dragon. I thought she was really good. She has like a very distinct voice,
Yeah.
and can convey a lot of emotion. And
Like
really
in all like most SpongeBob episodes and definitely in all of the SpongeBob films, there's obviously like a lot of compilation sequences around Krabby Patties. Does anyone else get hungry for burgers? when you see
every time I
Yeah.
see it, even in the 2D thing, I crave like a turkey burger or a grilled cheese or something.
Never craved a burger before.
That makes
I
sense.
don't really eat a lot of meat.
Yeah.
Don't you eat veggie burgers?
But I will say this: every time I've had like a Krabby Patty looking thing, there's like gummies and like sweets and stuff. Like they've done macaroon versions. So for some reason, I want sweets when I see Krabby Patty.
That sounds disgusting.
Sounds like they've messed your brain
yeah,
up, bro.
your brain doesn't work good no more
Yeah.
when it comes to food.
One of the best SpongeBob episodes is the episode where Squidward has never had a Krabby Patty and then he like eats it. And he loves it.
Yeah, he
Oh,
gets
yeah,
so
I had to watch
fat.
that.
My favorite is like, he's like, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna blow up? And then SpongeBob's like, no, worse. It'll go to your thighs, and then you'll blow up. And he's like, my thighs?
Wow, you.
It's a great
You're a
one.
nerd.
I will say, they didn't feel like there was a lot of Squidward in this movie.
There was or wasn't?
Was not.
Yeah.
Like he had, I think, maybe 6, 7 lines, and that was about it.
I mean, they used the Kenny Rogers type
Yeah.
of Squidward.
It was all about, was it Kelpie?
Kelp Rogers or something.
yeah,
Or
Kelp,
I forget
or,
what the
yeah.
character's name was because he was so forgettable. Because it just I wonder if they actually got Kenny Rogers to play the instrument.
I mean, they just have to go download a sound recording. They don't need him.
Very true.
But I will say, I think my ultimate favorite part of SpongeBob was one of the Camp Coral flashbacks when Squidward is doing the talent show,
Yeah.
and he remember the bad
Yes,
recorder
yeah.
of My Heart Will Go
Yeah.
On? He does
He
that.
does that,
I was
yeah.
like, they stole that from that. I was like,
They
but I
stole a
love it.
YouTube
And
joke.
he's like, I can't believe I didn't win.
Real quick about SpongeBob. So you know how the movie felt like it was a backdoor pilot for Camp Coral, right? All of the story that they introduce in Camp Coral, like in these flashbacks, do not line up with what the actual show is about.
Amazing.
Is it? And you know this because you watched Camp Coral, didn't
No,
you?
I read about the show. I have not watched it yet. Well, I do want to watch an episode or two to give it a chance.
Real quick, we turned it on for about 5-10 minutes before realizing this was not the movie.
Yeah.
And it's not the best voice acting I've ever heard, and animation style is slightly.
It's a bit OCD.
It's not that it's OCD. It's like
all over
brighter.
the
It's just the
place.
colors just feel off.
Right.
Right. Like the movie, the colors feel more cinematic, more kind of tuned in. Toned in. I don't know. As opposed to like what you're seeing on the Camp
Tuned.
Coral, where it's like very, very bright and in your face.
Well, so the thing is, like Squidward's presented as like someone who is Patrick and SpongeBob's age in the movie. In the show, he's like an older counselor. In the movie, Mr. Krabs doesn't work at the camp. He like makes Krabby Patties for the kids. He's like the head counselor in the show. There's like large inconsistencies, and also the movie itself also breaks some of SpongeBob lore and continuity. Like Sandy and SpongeBob meet in the very first episode of the show. That's when he meets her. While in the show, it's presented that they met all these years ago.
I think that's okay because I feel like cartoons.
No, I want
I feel like
strict
cartoons
continuity.
are breaking continuity all the time.
I want strict continuity.
Like I feel like all of those 90s shows always rewrote character histories and backstories. That's part of the reason that they're so
Correct. Like
goofy.
Simpsons and
Yeah.
Family Guy, like they all reset continuity essentially.
When your characters
with every
don't grow up,
episode.
like your kids are kids for 30
sure.
plus years, you're doing a lot of rewriting.
When you do 30 Halloween episodes.
Only 30.
I'm not gonna lie. We've talked about a lot about SpongeBob, more than I thought we would.
We have.
I'm not gonna lie.
It was weird.
It was weird, and with that, I think
Wow.
we have to ask that question.
Oh, shit.
And Arjun, I'm gonna ask you first.
Yes.
Did SpongeBob, Sponge on the Run, live up to your insane high expectations? Expectations that I'm sure were similar to mine when I first saw Star Wars Rogue One.
Well, I didn't have high expectations for the movie.
He
Like,
would have been sobbing.
I thought it would be I hoped it would be like a fun, enjoyable movie, and I did kind of like it. I didn't even watch it in one go. Like Sahara and I started the movie, and then we got tired about halfway through, or about 30 minutes in, stopped it, and then like it was like 6 days later where we finished the movie. And I think that kind of points out like how non-impactful the movie was, where you can just wait 6 days and be like, oh yeah, I guess we should finish this movie. So even with the low expectations, I would not say it lived up to the expectations.
Wow. Your expectations
So
were
it was-
here and it underdelivered.
It was
even
not,
that.
I just think the other two are better. I think the first movie is actually really good. And I think the second movie, I thought it was weird when I first saw it, but when I've rewatched it, like it is actually kind of hilarious. Christian, was SpongeBob Sponge on the Run good?
No. Ravi, was SpongeBob Sponge on the Run?
No explanation. No.
I don't think any swear.
No, it's not good.
He just
The
did
cat
your
is
paw
eating your tea?
Well, there's no tea in it. He wants the tea bag. I want to say.
Don't let him. No, because he'll crack it. He'll rip it open. And there'll be tea leaves everywhere. Don't let him get it.
No, I kind of want to see it.
No, you can clean up the mess
This
then.
is great for a audio podcast.
Yeah, don't let him have
He wants
it.
the water.
I can't drink it now though.
No.
You could, and then you could become Catman.
I kind of want to.
Ravi's cat is getting into Krishna's tea right now. It's hilarious. If you're not seeing it, check it out on twitch.tv/wasitgood.
What a fucking tease!
That is a pro. That is a
Thank you.
pro.
Thank you, Mr.
Anyway, ask the question so you can all be surprised by my answer.
Ravi,
Oh,
did
God.
you like SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run?
Yes, I did. Actually, get out. I thought it was weird as fuck, and it was enjoyable. I was legitimately laughing quite a bit.
It would have been the fun with the right grass and or milk.
Well, maybe I had one of those at the time.
Milk is our word for a
Shrooms,
certain psychedelic.
mushrooms,
Call it milk.
Mushrooms.
psychedelics. Let's change it up. Juna, go ahead and kick it off.
Ravi, was Raya the Last Dragon good?
Yes, it was good. Favorite part was the water. I know it's funny, but the animation, like, it looked like legit fucking water, so they did a great job there. Krishna, was Raya good?
His whole head was inside of the cup. He was like, yes, it was extremely good. My favorite part was the baby and her 3 monkeys. Because I think there's an untold story there that I want to see, but also the animation was incredible.
Oh my God.
And sorry, I'm very distracted right now. But yeah, it was good. Arjuna, was Raya and the Last Dragon?
Yes.
Yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon good for you?
Yes, it was. It's one of Disney's best animated movies, I would say. And my favorite part was Benedict Wong's character Tong, because Benedict Wong, first of all, is always fantastic in everything he does, and Tong was just another fun character that he can add to his pantheon of amazing roles.
They should make that a MCU tie-in somehow.
You know how like Wong is like actually the more interesting part of Doctor Strange.
Yes.
That he should be Doctor Strange. I'm not even kidding.
I would love to see that, because
He's
he's way more interesting.
Infinitely more interesting than Benedict Cumberbatch. Like, no offense to Benedict.
Benedict's
He's a-
great, but
He's a good actor. He's a good actor.
Just not for
I
Doctor
just
Strange.
don't
no.
feel like his heart's in it when he plays Doctor Strange.
did you see his comments on Thrawn?
No.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be blue. He's
He's
like,
like,
not for
I'm
me.
not doing it. There's no way I want to be blue.
He's like,
damn.
Well, he
son.
explained.
You're an actor, bro.
He explained further. He's like, I have kids. He's like, I just don't want to sit in a makeup chair for 6 hours. And he's like, but that's not the point I'm at in my life. Part of me feels like he's trying to throw people off the scent. And he's like using his kids as an example because he's always busy as fuck. So does he really care about his kids?
Hell no. He's British. Of course he doesn't.
And with that, thank you for listening.
Benedict, if you're out there, let us know.
As always, you can find us on Twitter at Was It Good, on Instagram at Was It Good BTM. We live stream these pods on Mondays and Fridays on twitch.tv/wasitgood. Also have a YouTube channel. Definitely check that out. Our website is wasitgood.info. Newsletter is coming shortly. Our next podcast is this Friday on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll also be live streaming this Saturday as we watch live for the very first time the Zack Snyder Justice League 4-hour clusterfuck of a cut.
If you want a real surprise, go to Rotten Tomatoes to check its Rotten Tomato score.
With 104 professional
reviews.
reviews. Do you want to hear the number?
Professional.
No. Goodbye.
You sure?
Yes, goodbye.
Are you sure?
Yes, I don't want to know.
How about for our our Twitch audience?
Well, no, let's for this should we restart up again recording, cuz then you want to get the Attack on Titan discussion in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Would that make it easier for you?
Yeah, if we record it on the...
Yeah, do you want to just hit record again, Learman?
No, I think you just need it on the Roadcaster.
Well, no, you also want it on the hard drive though. Right? Cuz you want the video.
Oh, yeah, I want it on the... They're both on. Well, that's...
They're both on?
Yeah, they're good.
Okay, so how do we want to tease this?
I'll start us off. What are we talking about? So actually, real quick. So we didn't get an Attack on Titan episode this week.
We did not.
It's been delayed probably at least a week. But Ravi, you had a very interesting theory based on the last few episodes, I think.
I did, and I'm probably going to mess up some names here. So when I do,
We're
I will,
here.
I will,
We're here.
I will pause,
We will fill you in.
and you can just jump in there.
Artemina.
Kind of like what you're doing right now.
Aaron
Can't even let me
Hombre
finish a fucking
Jaeger.
sentence.
Go
Levi.
Well,
Go
Hanji.
so the theory goes like this. So there is this individual named Kruger who has the Attack Titan power well before, obviously, Aaron has it, before his father, Grisha Jaeger. Now, Grisha Jaeger and Kruger on the island of
Marley.
on Marley, they run into each other when Grisha is a kid, right? And they kind of keep in touch, or Kruger is aware of this kid for a while, up until the point when Grisha is taken to Paradise and Kruger reveals everything to him, right? It's kind of like
throws the hat like a fucking badass.
It's kind of like a master and apprentice, or a Padawan and a Jedi Knight, you know? That type of, that's how it kind of, to me, was played off. So my theory is we see Falco, the little blonde individual, one of the new warrior cadets, a new character introduced to us in the first episode. We see him and the character who we realize is Aaron run into each other a number of different times. And it doesn't appear like it's on coincidence. It's almost like Aaron is putting himself in the way so that these two interact. Yeah. So my theory is Aaron, kind of how Kruger was aware of Grisha, it's the same type of kind of setup where Aaron knows that Falco is going to be the one to take on the Attack Titan power. Because remember, there's this memory thing that's coming to completely shared. Yeah. So he has attached himself to Falco, or been close to Falco, so that he can kind of prep his apprentice, if you will, to take on this power. That's kind of my ultimate thing. And the other reason I bring up this theory is because Falco is the one we've seen in all of the closing sequences. He's the little kid. And if you look at the end credits of season 4, where he's kind of this kid in war running, it's all mystical. It's very similar to season 1 and Aaron, where it's all mystical and chasing after himself and blah, blah, blah.
And maybe the best evidence for your theory is in Arjuna's favorite anime episode ever. Aaron, I think, keeps him there to hear the whole story. Yes. Why would he do that if, other than he likes the kid?
He wants to be eaten by him.
Yes. Oh man, he's chosen his.
I want you to eat me.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my major theory there. But then Arjun, you took it. Is it you who took it a step further, or you who took it?
It was me.
Okay.
The evidence that you've presented is actually super compelling. For some reason, I think it's him trying to get to Gabby. Only because Gabby is like Aaron 2.0, but now that you've pretty much laid out your ideas and your theory, it does seem like it would be weird for Aaron to try and get to Gabby by interacting this much with Falco, right? And perhaps maybe Gabby's too much like Aaron. Maybe you don't want another Aaron with those powers.
So I remember you saying this when we watched the earlier seasons of Attack on Titan. You were very annoyed with the character of Armin.
Yes.
Being this whining, pain in the ass character that just complains, right?
Yeah.
Gabby has kind of become this somewhat annoying character she's not complaining. The reasoning is very legit, definitely.
She's going the same way Aaron was in the first few seasons.
Yes. So, but she's presented as this kind of more like annoying type character, right? As opposed to like Falco, who's kind of, to a degree, like he's there, but he's a little bit more mysterious in terms of we're still trying to figure out his whole thing.
I think it's kind of obvious what his thing is that he is a good person. He's on the side of we need to stop doing bad stuff to each other. That's on like both sides, right? He doesn't like the fact that Marleyans kill Eldians and Eldians kill Marleyans. Like he just seems like he's like the voice of conscience. Like he's the voice of reason, trying to get through to Gabby. Be like, use your eyes, use your brain, like
And that
look at what's going on around.
And I think that would, to a degree, I think that makes it even more interesting if he does take on the power that Eren has.
Yeah.
Because if you've got this like neutral person, right? They
Nothing
could
gets done.
say again?
That's why it could be Gabby because
Right, but in the
someone-
right hands though, it could be a better place for this power to go and then maybe just disappear from this world, as opposed to someone who is extreme like Eren or someone who's extreme like Gabby, where it's just they just want the end of their enemy essentially.
Yeah. But the power is there though to protect the Eldians. So if
I
so
would
if, say
yeah.
Falco gets it and he's neutral and he truly decides like I gotta, get rid of this power, so he goes into hiding or something. That doesn't help the Eldians at all. In fact, that takes away their only protection against the rest of the world who hate them. They're still devils, right, to the rest of the world. So,
well, that's the thing though. They're devils because of the Titan power. If he's able to take all the Titan power away, and there is no more Titans, and you can't make any more Titans, you've level set everything.
like the Avatar taking away Ozai's powers at the end in the finale of Avatar.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. If you take away the power, then it's level
There's not a
set.
threat anymore.
There's no more threat.
Yeah.
All right, so
Shit, did we just? I think we just figured out how this ends. The Titan power is taken away. The end.
By Falco.
By Falco.
Falco?
Falco will take the power away.
It's quite a theory.
Because remember, there's that other thing that's presented in the world where, if the owner of a Titan power dies and it's not Ian, the power just goes into the ether and someone else picks it up.
Yeah.
We only know that because some Tom, Dick, or Harry said that. And like we've seen in the last episode, people say shit and they lie about shit.
Yeah.
So nothing
Unreliable
all of it's
information.
unreliable information. So it's very possible that that this Falco is this neutral thing that will realize, Eldian is a threat because they have this Titan thing. People are threatened by it. People are afraid of it. There's also all this misinformation in terms of history.
Or Gabby gets the powers, but Eren is seeing through Gabby that Falco is a person that's going to keep her on the straight and narrow. So that's why he is giving Falco all of this.
Similar like Mikasa and Armin to Eren at one point.
Exactly. He's
Like
setting-
a grounding,
he's setting-
like a grounding point.
Yeah.
That makes sense too.
He's seeing Falco through Gabby's eyes,
Right.
And it's like this person's super important for her to do whatever it is she has to do, right? Because if Falco gets it, it makes Gabby almost useless. I think.
I don't think so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because at this point she's been pretty broken down. Her ideals are getting broken down like crazy. Every episode, she's losing more and more of her identity. That is everything to her, right? Her personality, or her feelings on Eldians, the devils.
Right.
So if he ends up with the powers, I guess she could become like an Eren Mikasa sort of combination, like a really powerful warrior who's a little gun ho. But it seems to me like she's destined for a little bit more than that.
I think she's been presented as a character so far that is the opposite side's Eren, right? Where obviously more capable, obviously has that same type of anger and continuing the question of like who shot first doesn't matter, like revenge, kill everyone, blah blah blah.
They're devils.
But it seems like and I think we talked about this on the pod in previous weeks, but it seems like almost she's going to be redeemed and like Eren isn't. So I think that is kind of where her character is going to come in play. Like, is she's redeemed somehow potentially at the end? Maybe she is redeemed because she saved.
She's getting there.
She saves like an important a person from Paradise Island. Like maybe she saves an Armin or a Mikasa, right? Which you never would have guessed when we first started with her character and especially like what she's done.
Or she kills somebody major like a Zeke.
Potentially, yeah. I think Levi and Zeke are going to be the two that fight off and kill each other.
I think Levi.
At least that's how they've set up their characters.
I think
throughout.
So here's what I think is going to happen. This is just all out theories. I'm really sorry, Michael, as well, our producer, who is not caught up. But my theory is that Levi and Zeke will fight. Levi is actually going to have Zeke at sword point and be about to kill him. Eren comes in and kills Levi. I think that's exactly how it's going down. Because that it's got to be brutal. And it's got to be Levi and Eren because Levi has been using Eren as a punching bag for 4 seasons.
Levi's the
Deservedly so.
protagonist.
Yeah, but he's a dead man, though.
No, he's the only survivor.
I really wish he was, but
I'm going to read the manga, by the way, so all of this spoiling
Oh,
be
it's over.
prepared for revenge.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. But yeah.
Do we?
That's
I
my
mean,
prediction.
who is the protagonist of this? Is it Armin because he has the opening narration?
It's us. We're the good guys. The viewer is the good guy.
I love that.
The viewer is the good guy.
I think it's pretty obvious who the protagonist is. It's Connie.
Oh my god.
Because
she did.
he's almost bald like me.
Oh, he did.
Either way, I think it'll be
He's a dead
interesting,
man?
and I'm looking forward to when we get new episodes. Hopefully, it'll be soon, and
Yeah, it'll be Sunday.
yeah. So
But would that be nice if we get like 2 episodes on Sunday?
I'd be cool with that.
I'd be
Be
kind of
worth
cool
it.
with a nice back to back.
That would be nice. Especially after the 4-hour shit show we'll be watching the night before.
Yeah,
Are we gonna do all 4 of us at once for that?
I haven't figured it out. I'll let you
'Cause
know day of.
I have a cool idea for it. If we do.
Oh, we each dress up as a Justice League.
No.
Not a member, a Justice League.
I'll dress up as One Punch Man. Wait, do you have any other superhero costumes?
We have Star Wars costumes.
No, it gotta be superheroes.
Some people would say the Star Wars characters are superheroes.
You have to be a non-Star Wars superhero. Do you have one?
No.
Either way, he'll be interesting. So
Yeah.
we're good there. You can cut it. That was more than like a social clip. That's probably like a YouTube clip. Yeah. So we'll do the Attack on Titan as one of the social things, and then do you want to get the clip of Megatron on the table?
Yes. Yeah. And then eating the tea.
Yeah, or just him on the table. You can't see him when he's eating
Oh.
the tea, so no point. And then maybe Arjun, your whole thing about Sandy looking like a crackhead. Because I think you also asked the question there, like, who is this animation style for?
Oh yeah.
So.
Or no, it was updating it because it's been the same for 22 years. So it's like this is what they're choosing to update it to, and Arjuna is afraid. He's afraid for the future.
Beyond that, I think we're good. We'll be back sometime this week. I kind of want to do a...
Black Friday, right?
we'll be
Friday
Friday
at the latest, but in case.
Oh,
Ravi
you mean
wants-
for the pod at least?
Yeah, for the pod, we'll be back Friday, but there will be a couple of the live streams hopefully this week.
Cool.
Cool.
So we'll let you know. Beyond that, goodbye.
Bye bye.